Have you noticed that the people who are running the show in the Western democracies, they seem either to be weakling betas or flat-out psychopaths? Yeah, this is a feature, not a bug. If you look at the way the establishment has been structured in order to bring in new members to the top, in the Western democracies, inevitably, the elites will be chock full of betas and psychopaths. Before I get started on today's video, I'd ask you please to check out my Patreon channel. Link is in the description below. The reason being is that, see, on YouTube, if you say any little thing that they don't like, they'll deplatform you. And on Patreon, I'm able to do the videos that I can no longer do on YouTube, quite frankly. So please go check it out. And yeah, that's all. Here's the video. See, an elite population, the people who are running things at the top, right? Well, they have to come from somewhere. Now, in the past, when there was an aristocracy, it was where you were born. You were born from, the rich, high society people. Well, you were going to be rich and high society. And more to the point, you'd be running things. But the problem, of course, with natural-born aristocracy is that subsequent generations are just too dumb to run things. Yeah, I mean, look at history. Yeah, you had some great king who ran things very, very well, and his sons were just not that capable, and his grandsons were flat-out idiots, and by the time the great-grandchildren rolled around, well, the empire was gone. That was the normal state of affairs in the past. But in the Western democracies, we have come up with this whole meritocratic system whereby people, no matter how humble they might happen to be, they can rise up to the top echelon, to the elite, to the top 1%. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about connections, the bureaucracy, be it in academia or the government or wherever. See, that top 1%. Well, the whole educational system is designed to bring out those people from even the very bottom layers of society all the way to the tippity top. I mean, look at Bill Clinton, for crying out loud. Bill Clinton was white trash. Arkansas white trash. And where did he end up? Yeah, on the Lolita Express. Well, kidding aside, you see my point. See, the whole system has been structured so that people can rise. And this is a good thing. See, a meritocracy or a meritocratic system that actively looks for the best people is going to be a very healthy society because those best people will rise to the top. However, and here comes the problem, in the Western democracies over the last few decades, I'd argue at least the last couple of decades, if not starting in the late 80s, well, the people who rise are not the best people. No, the people who rise are those who are spotless. Yeah, they're people who have the perfect record. They don't have a single blemish on their CV, not in school, elementary school, or high school, or college. They never broke any of the lines, crossed any of the lines that the society has imposed on us. See, the very capable people, they tend to cross lines, break lines all the time. But who is it that does not cross a line? Betas and psychopaths. Yeah, because the beta is too afraid to cross a line. The beta sees a line and runs from it, okay? The beta plays the game and does exactly what he is told, not just by his teachers or his professors, but the society at large. The society at large says don't smoke, he doesn't smoke. The society at large says don't drink, he won't drink. Or do drugs. Oh, no, 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 no. The society says get all A's in all your classes, irrespective of whether you like it or not. The beta is going to do that. He is going to toe every line that is put in front of him. And so will a psychopath, by the way. See, a psychopath, what is he interested in? He's interested in blending in. He's interested in not being noticed. He's very manipulative. He has no empathy whatsoever. He's only interested in himself. And so he learns early on that in order to get ahead, he has to toe the line that other people impose. When they're not looking, he can break those lines. But when they are looking, when it's in school or university or whatnot, he's going to toe those lines and he's going to smile. Yeah, he's going to smile and say, see, I'm toeing the line just like you want me to. And then when it's dark, or when their backs are turned, that's when the psychopath is going to break all the lines and do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Because that's the way of psychopaths. But what about those people who are really capable? Those people who have a moral vision, those people who are very capable, very intelligent, very hardworking, very driven. Well, those people, they tend to break lines by definition because they push those lines to see where they can break. And sometimes those lines get broken and it's the one chance and that's it. And that guy who was capable, smart, driven, moral, a man of integrity, well, he broke some line when he was a kid, when he was like in high school or college. And because of it, he has a blemish on his resume. And so he doesn't rise. He doesn't keep on climbing the ladder. He won't be able to reach the very tippity top of politics or the corporate environment, maybe in the corporate environment, right? But not in academia, for instance. No, I mean, in academia, the most conservative place in the world right now in the Western democracies is academia. If you break one line, that's it. You're a student and you question any of the orthodoxies, that's it for your career in academia. You cannot advance. And so, the more capable people in our current system, they don't get to the top. But the betas who toe every line and the psychopaths who also toe every line, they get to the top and they get to lead. And what happens when a beta leads? Beta doesn't lead by definition. A beta does what everybody tells him to do or what he thinks is the most popular thing to do. Look at Barack Obama, the ultimate beta. That guy is beta to the max, beta cubed, beta to infinity and beyond, for crying out loud. That guy did exactly what was asked of him at every step of the way. And he never broke any line. He never struck out on his own. He had no moral vision whatsoever. He claimed that he did. He claimed that it was all about hope and change, but was there any real change? Did things get better, substantially better, for the majority of people in the United States? No. The guy was a beta, and perhaps even a psychopath. The issue of whether Obama is a mere beta or a psychopath, well, that remains to be seen. But there are other people in positions of leadership in the Western democracies that are very clearly psychopaths. I mean, look at, what's his name, Cuomo, running New York State. That guy's a stone cold psychopath. There's no other way to look at the guy, huh? And the policies that he has implemented, the things that he has done, the way that he, for all intents and purposes, killed off a bunch of elderly people in nursing homes, for crying out loud, insofar as how he handled the COVID-19 disaster. And then later he went and wrote a book claiming that he had done such a great job. I mean, come on, if that's not the behavior of a psychopath, I don't know what is. But that's just looking at specific cases. That's not important. What's important in this video is for you to understand how our current system in the Western democracies, in Western Europe, in the Americas, and in Australia and New Zealand, it's designed to get these extremely compliant betas to positions of leadership. And it allows for psychopaths to rise to the top. The system is not designed to get psychopaths to rise to the top. No, it's psychopaths take advantage of the system because the system is so rigid. The system demands that you never break any line. See? In the past, this was not the case. In the past, people could break a line as they grew and matured, and it would be okay. You could be foolish and do silly things when you were young, as all young people do by definition, because they're learning. But if those people did something foolish when they were young, it would not eliminate their possibility of rising to positions of leadership. But over the last 30 years, that's what's happened in the West. The system, the meritocratic system that we have created, has calcified. And it no longer looks at people and judges them with any kind of flexibility. It's all rigid judgment. You break a line, you can't rise. Simple as that. There's no sense of proportion. There's no sense of like, well, did it really matter? Was it that big of a deal? Or was it just, a young guy sowing his wild oats, and here he is, a 40-year-old man, and he knows better. Was it something like that? No, there's none of that. None of that moral flexibility. It's all rigid. And that's why the betas rise, and that's why the psychopaths rise. If you have a civilization, a nation, run by betas and psychopaths, that civilization, that nation is doomed to failure, see? Because the psychopath is only going to be caring about himself. He's not going to be caring about the long-term benefit and the long-term health of the society that he's leading. No, of course not. He doesn't care, right? All he cares is himself, getting himself better in terms of more money, more power, more prestige. And the beta, well, is he going to stick his neck out? No. He's never stuck his neck out. So if he's in a position of leadership and he needs to stick his neck out in order to advance the society, the civilization, the nation, he's not going to do it because the moral courage to do it has been bred out of him. He's a beta. And this is a disaster for the times we are living in. Yeah, because these times that we're living in, these are very, very serious times. And we need very, very serious leadership. We need men and women who have, quite frankly, who have balls, who have the gumption, the balls, the moral courage to do things that are unpopular, to do things that might get everybody up in a, throw a little hissy fit, but is long-term to the benefit of our society. And we all know what those things are. But our leadership, the system that we have in place, no longer produces those men and women who could rise up, take the levers of power, and do what has to be done. And this is a tragedy because this system that we have, which functions so well for a couple of centuries, at least insofar as the United States is concerned, and in the other Western democracies functioned very well for, at least since the end of the Second World War. Well, now that system no longer works. And the people who are running things, they're betas and psychopaths. And that means that you and I, we citizens of the Western democracies, we're in trouble. Like I said before, if you like my content, go check out my Patreon. Because on Patreon, I can say whatever I feel like. By the way, on Patreon, I've recently completed a index of all the videos I've put up there. I've put over 140 videos there that you aren't going to find anywhere else. They are exclusive to Patreon. So go check it out. Like I said, link is in the description below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you next time.